The Nets take on the Raptors, 1:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Raptors are minus 11, totals 226.5. The Nets are plus 550 on the money line. And if you like the Nets to cover, they're minus a $1.10, catching the 11. I'm 2-0 in my last two NBA tier package plays on patreon.com/Brock Page. 63% my last 30 in that same package. If you want access to these premium selections, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/Brock Page. Now the Nets are down 1-0 in the series. Gave up 36 points or more in 3 out of the 4 quarters in Game 1. That means Brooklyn has lost 3 out of their last 6, and they've given up 139 points per contest on average in those 3 losses. The Nets have won just 40% of their games away from home this season and dropped 8 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Toronto. The Nets rank in the bottom 5 in three-point percentage, bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. They've lost 9 out of their last 11 against the Atlantic Division, and they rank in the bottom 3 in offensive field goal percentage away from home. Crawford's also been ruled out with a hammy, so that's another guy out for Brooklyn. They're taking on a Toronto squad who won 75% of their ball games away from home this season. They've also covered nearly 60% of their ball games for the entire season, regardless of location. Toronto's currently on a 5-game winning streak, and they won 12 out of their last 13. The Raptors are in the top 5 in three-point percentage, top 3 in points allowed. They're giving up just 106 points per contest for the season. And as far as the regular season stats go, Pascal Siakam averaged 23 points a night, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Kyle Lowry scored 19 a game along with 5 boards, 8 assists for him. And Freddie VanVleet scored 18 a game as well, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 2 steals. The Raptors rank in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage, 18-2 straight up in their last 20 against Brooklyn. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Toronto's last 3 games got over the total of 226 and a hook. The Raptors are officially 67% to the over in their last 6 ball games. Meanwhile, the Nets on the other side saw 6 out of their last 9 games get over the posted total themselves. They also saw 6 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Raptors get over the number as well. Give me the Raptors minus 11 and the over 226.5 in that contest. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Wednesday's NBA basketball action. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. We are halfway there. The weekend is right around the corner. Now, before we go ahead and dive into some more free content here on YouTube, I just have to quickly remind you once again that we're 2-0 in our last 2 NBA tier package plays on patreon.com/Brock Page. We're also hitting at 63% in our last 30 NBA tier package plays on that site as well. If you want some more information on how you can join in on the action, a link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/Brock Page. And moving on, we're going to take a look at the Jazz Nuggets, 4 p.m. East. Nuggets are up 1-0 in the series. The Nuggets are the 4-point favorite, totals 217 flat. The Jazz are plus 140 for an outright win. And if you like Utah catching the 4, they're minus a $1.10 to cover. Now the Jazz have lost 6 out of their last 8 ball games, giving up 120 points per contest on average during that stretch. The Jazz covered just 47% of their games away from home this season, and they'll have to go to work today without Conley and Davis. In addition to failing to cover in 5 out of their last 8, Utah ranks in the bottom half of the league in scoring on average per game, and they've successfully covered the number in just 3 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Nuggets. And speaking of Denver, they are 13-2 straight up in their last 15 against the Northwest Division. Denver ranks in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage and in the top 5 in defensive rebounding as well. Now, along with covering the number in 5 out of their last 8, this Denver squad has won 73% of their ball games when favored. And despite Barton and Harris being ruled out for today's game, The Nuggets were led by Nikola Jokic in the regular season, who averaged 20 points a night along with double-digit rebounds. As a matter of fact, more specifically, it was 10 rebounds a night along with 7 assists. Now, Jamal Murray also averaged 19 a game along with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Jeremy Grant scored a dozen a game along with 4 boards as well. The Nuggets have taken 7 out of their last 10 meetings with the Jazz. And when it comes to the total in this one, Denver's last 9 straight ball games got over the posted total. Meanwhile, the Jazz on the other side, they saw 6 out of their last 7 get over the number themselves. Give me the Denver Nuggets -4 and the over 217 in that game. Next contest, Sixers, Celtics, 6:30 p.m. Eastern start time. Celtics up 1-0 in the series. The Celtics are the 4.5-point favorite. Total's 214 and a hook. The Sixers are plus 150 on the money line. And if you like Philly plus 4.5, they're minus $1.18 to cover. Robinson and Simmons still out for Philly. The Sixers have really kind of crawled past the finish line here in recent weeks. Just 1-4 straight up in their last 5. 3-6 against the spread in their last 9. The Sixers are winning just 30% of their games away from home this year. I get it. This is a neutral site game, but they're away from home. They're not in the Wells Fargo Center. They're also 28% against the spread in those ball games away from home as well. The Sixers have also won just 5 out of 24 games when catching plus money. They're in the bottom 10 in free throw percentage, bottom 10 in scoring away from home. The Sixers have failed to cover the number in 7 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Celtics. And speaking of Boston, they've won 5 out of their last 6 games themselves. Just 106 points per game they gave up during that span. This Boston team has covered 67% of their games away from home this year. They are away from the Garden. They're at a neutral site. They're not home. They're away from home. They also won 76% of their ball games when laying the juice. They rank in the top 10 in scoring, top 10 in offensive rebounding. And despite missing Gordon Hayward indefinitely, Boston's still led by Jason Tate. Actually, they're very used to playing without Gordon Hayward, by the way. He's always hurt. But anyway, Jason Tatum averaged 23 points a night during the regular season, 7 rebounds, 3 assists as well. Kemba Walker scored 20 a game along with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. And of course, Jaylen Brown averaged 20 a game along with 6 boards for him as well. The Celtics are in the top 5 in defensive field goal percentage, top 3 in defending the 3-ball. Boston gives up just 107 points per contest on average for the entire season. Now, total-wise, 8 out of the Celtics' last 10 got over the total of 214.5. Matter of fact, the Celtics went 70% to the over in their last 10 ball games. Meanwhile, the Sixers on the other side saw 4 out of their last 5 get over the 214.5 themselves. Philly's officially 73% to the over in their last 15. Give me the Celtics -4.5 and the over 214 and a hook in that game. Next and final matchup for the show, it's going to be Mavs Clippers, 9 p.m. East. Clippers are up 1-0 in the series. The Clippers are the 6-point favorite. Totals 229.5. The Mavs are plus 190 for an outright win. They're also minus $1.18 to cover. Dallas is currently on a 3-game losing streak and allowed 127 points per contest on average during that span. The Mavs also dropped 5 out of their last 8. They find themselves winning just 40% of their games when catching plus money. Lee, Powell, Cauley Stein, and Brunson are all still out for the Mavericks. Kristaps Porzingis is listed as questionable with a knee. He's responsible for 20 points a night in the regular season, along with a ton of rebounds, so keep an eye on Porzingis. Now, the Mavericks have failed to cover the number in 7 out of their last 9, and they rank in the bottom half of the league in offensive field goal percentage. They're winless in their last 5 straight against the Clippers, and they also failed to cover the spread in each and every one of those contests. Now, the Mavs have also failed to cover in 7 out of their last 8 conference games as well, really struggling to cover the point spread against the Western Conference. They're taking on a Clipper squad who's led by Kawhi Leonard, who scored 27 a night during the regular season, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a couple of steals. Paul George also dropped 22 a game along with 6 rebounds and 4 assists. And big Montrezl Harrell, he scored 19 a game along with 7 boards. The Clippers won 61% of their games away from home Of course, that's 61% of their games away from the Staples Center this season. They also won 75% of their ball games when favored. They're in the top 5 in scoring, top 3 in offensive rebounding. They're also 80% against the spread in their last 10, and they average nearly 117 points per contest for the entire season. In addition to going 5-0 against the number in their last 5 conference matchups, the Clippers rank in the top 3 in defensive field goal percentage as well. And when it comes to the total in this one, 5 out of LA's last 7 games got over the total of 229.5. Dallas, on the other side, saw 4 out of their last 6 get over the posted total themselves. Give me the Clippers -6 and the over 229.5 in that game. And with that said, guys, that is going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.